Hey everybody, welcome back to my anime react channel, Gizanime. Today we're going to be watching Kenja No Deshi, or She Professed Herself Pupil of the Wise Man, episode 4. So, last episode we left off with our girl Mira going into like this dungeon-esque type place to find Soulhowl. And on the way there she runs into Tact, who is being chased by some people because he wants to go find out about his parents. And in the process, some guild members that he tried to recruit ran after him because they thought he was kind of crazy. And they decide all together to go there. They get there, they find out that Tact's parents are probably not dead, which is why he wasn't able to summon them. And we find out that Zet, one of the other guys with them, wanted to speak to his sister who died of a disease that he was unable to cure her of, which is why he's in this party in the first place. So that's pretty much how the episode ends off. I would like to take some notes of some things kind of that we've learned so far. Some of the big takeaways being that, you know, the world that they live in is a living world, that the game itself has adapted over time, kind of like, I guess, The Matrix, or how Sword Art Online was, in a sense. The NPCs weren't really living, but the players were. The players could go about doing their own things. And as well as Log Horizon. Log Horizon, although the NPCs really weren't able to do anything at first, it's later as the seasons progressed, they were able to break out of their shell more and more. In the earlier season of Log Horizon, the MC uses an ability to allow one of the NPCs to break out of his mold. But as the show progresses, it seems that it more and more became like a living world that they were a part of. And that's essentially what we've got here. The NPCs are living, they are able to make their own decisions, they have memories, they have families, they don't have like this quest giving mode that they have to like stay in this one spot anymore. And we also learn that a horde of monsters, or monsters in general, are gathering in hordes to do something. What it is, we don't know yet. Solomon's best guess is that it's to create some kind of swamp where monsters will perpetually come out of, thus making life miserable for everybody around. But that's just his best guess. There could be something else going on that they don't know about. Since the NPCs are living, I would gather that the monsters themselves are living and able to adapt in this new world as well. So they're obviously breaking out of the mold as well, and there might be some bigger in-game goal here that Solomon and Mira aren't aware of. Another thing of note is the peace treaty that is ending pretty soon, which is why Mira is going to this dungeon to find Soulhowl, because they need powerful allies, because this peace treaty that's about to end, Solomon is worried that the surrounding nations will come in and try to destroy his kingdom. So they need people to help them to prevent that from happening. Those are the major notes or takeaways that I've gotten from the series so far. Living world, peace treaty ending soon, and the monsters are going haywire for some unknown reason. So with that said, let's get into the episode details and go over those. So one of the first things that we note in the series is that during their travels in this dungeon, one of the girls talks about how there have been several more monster attacks going on in the area. So, due to these extra monster attacks, Mira comes to the conclusion, or it basically solidifies in her head, you know, that what's going on isn't so random after all, and that there is definitely a purpose behind what's going on in the surrounding areas, the surrounding nations, and like these two kingdoms that this girl mentions that these monsters just basically showed up at. So there's definitely something going on, and she probably needs to tell Solomon about. Then something else that I find a little humorous that happens in this episode is the fact that Mira has to go to the bathroom. Now, I find that really comical, but at the same time, she's worried, you know, that, hey, I need to do this, and I need to do it in private, because, like, if Psycho Girl here sees this going on, she might, yeah, go really ballistic. Something is definitely up with this girl, for sure. So as they get to the castle, and they see it, Mira darts away from them so that she can go to the restroom and obviously get away from Twinkle and the rest of the group. I just think it's really weird that she has to go to the bathroom, because I guess it's just more proof that the world itself is living. I'd assume that this is kind of like some kind of VR game that you dive into. So somehow the game is giving the player like the sensation that they need to go to the bathroom, which might actually end up being kind of a bad thing. You know what I mean?
I wet my bed.
Oh God, that's a shitload of piss.
Akin to thinking you need to go to the bathroom when you're in a dream. So that could be a little awkward, to say the least. So after she finishes with that, she decides to hurry up and try to get like her mission done, go find Soulhowl. So she scans the surrounding area and she finds one life in there, but she notes that the life that she sees is so weak that it cannot possibly be Soulhowl. But she decides to go check out whatever it is, just in case maybe it's him and he's weak, or, you know, just curiosity, I guess. Because if there's a life here, that life might possibly, you know where Soulhowl is. So she travels to where this room is, and inside of this room there are like hundreds of these women that are dressed up like maids, just all over the place in this room. And Mira notes that, I guess, it's like some kind of, I guess, aversion or weird, like, kink or something to that effect that Soulhowl has, because she says basically that he's disgusting for it. So I'm not sure what's going on with that, if it's like some kind of weird quirk that he has or what it is. But she goes up to the throne and sees that there's this woman there who is cold to the touch, and this is the person or the being that she noted earlier that, you know, this is the life that she saw that was really weak. But Mira notices, you know, that she's kind of bordering on dead and alive. She's right at like the precipice, so something is definitely going on with this woman, and Mira is unsure what it is or if Soulhowl has any part of it, you know. And then something that I would be really amiss to not mention is this scene here.
Don't let your kids watch it!
Where we get a little bit of fan service, which I really wasn't expecting from this anime. And the fact that Mira is sorta a thief, because she goes in here to essentially take clothing from Soulhowl, because I guess they have like the same kind of aesthetic appeal when it comes to clothing. So she decides to go through his wardrobe and take something for herself. So she just goes through clothing and basically lands on like this garment that essentially looks like the one she was wearing in the first place, which to me is kind of weird.
Nice ass.
But moving on after that, she comes across this thing that she calls the Grail of Heavenly Light, or something to that effect. This artifact that can basically cure all kinds of ailments and has even been known to be able to cure or resurrect the dead. So she comes to the conclusion that Soulhowl is using this thing to resurrect this woman. And she notes that there's like this marking on her back that is basically like a spell that stops her from aging any further. So she will not like decompose or rot or anything of that nature. So that Soulhowl apparently can go find this artifact to resurrect her. Or Mira says that there's like a curse on her, so to lift this curse from this woman. So Soulhowl is obviously in love with her. Then after that, she goes back to the party, notes that there are some more of these maid type girls that Soulhowl has hidden away, and they decide to leave without Soulhowl, which is kind of weird. I figured that she would have made a bigger effort to look for him, but that's not the case.
That's not what's in the script. Hold on.
So they leave, and as they're leaving, Zet notices a sound somewhere, and they're suddenly attacked by this demon that just comes out of the water. So not sure why he was there in the first place, if he maybe have been looking for like some artifacts himself, or thought that there might be something in like this castle that's worth noting or looking into. So Mira asks the group if they're able to help her out at all, and they basically say, no, we're not powerful enough to do anything. The best we can do is sacrifice ourselves to possibly buy you time to do something.
I guess you just have to be prepared to die.
To maybe summon the Valkyrie or whatnot. And she essentially tells them, well, if that's the case, then just let me handle it by myself, and you all, you know, go hide somewhere, get safe. I find it quite nice of the demon to let them sit there and banter back and forth on what to do and what not to do, as he's just like hovering in the air. But as the others do get to safety, Mira summons one of her Dark Knights and begins to attack this demon. But she uses the Dark Knight to parry one of his blows, and he basically congratulates her on doing that, which is short-sighted on his part because of how the battle progresses. Like, he's really underestimating Mira, and honestly, some of the things that happens in this fight is pretty interesting. So the demon easily dispatches the Dark Knight, and then basically taunts Mira, saying that without her summon, she would be unable to do anything. And then goes in to attack her, and she swiftly dodges the attack. And then after she dodges it, she counterattacks with a sort of a punch, like a force punch or something like that. Some kind of martial arts ability that's, I guess, in a part of the game, which sends the demon flying back a little bit. After this attack, the demon basically taunts her some more, saying, you know, that's pretty weak, you know, that although that's something unique, it's not that big of a deal for me. And Mira just starts powering up even more, going in for some more attacks to subdue this demon with. Mira notes that the attacks she's using, though, aren't powerful enough. So she essentially, what it looks like is, starts unleashing like limiters on her abilities or something. She just starts really powering up to try to finish the fight, I guess, as quickly as possible, because the demon states that, you know, he's trained his body to tank powerful attacks, so he's really resilient.
We know that, you fool.
So she further unleashes even more of her power, and I've got to say, this image of her looked really neat when they did it. So essentially what this does is, I guess it's kind of like a binding spell, and it locked him in place so that he was unable to move at all. Mira notes that due to his resilient and strong nature, though, that her binding wouldn't last very long against him. But she then chimes in, you know, that, as she mentioned when the fight started, that she was a summoner, and her Dark Knight appears behind this demon that is basically being held in place right now. And her Dark Knight comes in and skewers this demon through the back, essentially killing him.
Duh.
Alright, so that pretty much concluded the fight against the demon. They pretty much pick apart like his body, and I guess they're going to haul it off to like some kind of guild association or whatnot to try to sell the parts. And as they're traveling back to the city that they came from, Zet stops all of a sudden. Mira runs into his back, and then it pans forward onto the city, and we see that the city is being attacked. Like, the entire place is pretty much on fire, as we can see. And there's smoke coming out from everywhere. So, the monsters that have been attacking all the surrounding nations have finally come here to attack this place. And I guess they're just all over the city, attacking like the civilians, the military, etc. And Mira notes that, well, this isn't good, and, well, that should be pretty obvious. So that was the episode, and next episode will probably be them preventing this catastrophe from spreading any further. I do, again, find it a little awkward that she didn't stay behind in this place to find Soulhowl. I kind of figured that during the fight with the demon, Soulhowl would come out of nowhere, because maybe the demon might have been pushing Mira back some, but that didn't happen. And I do find Mira's abilities pretty, I wouldn't say really interesting, but strong. She keeps like one-upping what I think she can do, because like when we see her in the first episode, when she's fighting against the army of monsters at that time, she summons her army, stating before she even left to Solomon that, hey, I don't know if I can win this, and then going in there and just wiping them all out. So she is a lot more powerful than I would have given consideration to at face value. That said, I wonder what her upper limits are, because at this point in time, it seems like Mira is literally the only one that they really need. Like, Soulhowl and the other saints, or other wise men, seem really irrelevant, personally, because they're making her seem so strong by herself. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if next episode she just doesn't summon the majority of her army to take care of the monsters that are attacking the city. What I would like to see, though, is Soulhowl pop out of nowhere to help them, but I don't think that's going to happen. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But with that said, let me know what you all thought of this episode of Kenja No Deshi. If you enjoyed this reaction, please hit that sub button. Leave a comment in the comment section. Hit the like. Let me know if you enjoy this type of reaction. I'd really appreciate criticism, basically, if it's not an enjoyable experience. And check out my reaction on the Return of the Disaster Class Hero, Chapter 8 and 9. And I will catch you all next time.